Sup YouTube, it's Deluxe TCG here, and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And also, if you like what you see, feel free to leave a like. It only takes one tiny second every time and does help out the channel tremendously. With all the YouTube algorithm stuff out of the way, we're going to be talking about the Stellar Crown Buylist. And for the people that were thinking, oh, there's going to be one crazy humongous set that's going to change up the meta left and right. Yes and no. Stellar Crown is one of those sets that has a ton of impactful trainer cards, but for the Pokemon department, it actually is lackluster. So personally, I wouldn't recommend buying tons and tons of booster boxes unless you are one of those collectors that want to be getting, of course, the illustration rares, the full arts and all that beautiful stuff. Then, of course, if you're a collector, the set is for you. But for competitors out there, it's going to be one hell of a cheap set because we don't have to spend all that much money here. The cool thing is, let's just start off with the 3 Ace Specs of the bunch. We have Sparkling Crystal. Sparkling Crystal is an Ace Spec card that allows you to just have it equipped onto one of your Pokemon, and if you're a Tera Pokemon, you need 1 energy less to attack with. So that's super nice. That means that Dragapult EX, for example, can attack for 1 energy. Same goes for any other Tera Pokemon out there, 1 energy less to attack. And it's also going to be cool with other terrestrialization Pokemon out there. Definitely the ones that come back with a very awkward energy attack cost. You're going to be able to get Sparkling Crystal out of your deck quite easily through the means of Town Store, or even better, the Arven. Lots of decks out there are already using an Arven engine, meaning getting this card out of the deck is easier than ever before. So it's gonna be, one of those things you can think about when creating something like a Dragapult EX deck. Do I want Neo Upper Energy? Neo Upper Energy is way worse than the Sparkling Crystal. Sparkling Crystal is gonna be your easy ticket to a turn 2 Dragapult EX, because you can easily focus on using Arven, then finding the Sparkling Crystal, and with Arven you get either Candy or Ultra Ball, evolve your little Dreepy, and poof, off you go, going with the Phantom Dives as early as your second turn, which is super nice indeed. The upcoming Ace Pack card is Deluxe Bomb, which is a very similar card we've seen in the past. I'm gonna be talking about like Deluxe Bomb here in the sense is that it's also a tool card, meaning the same thing happens here, that you can find it with Arven, with Town Store and all that. And Deluxe Bomb is gonna be one of those cards that, if the opponent attacks into you, you're actually putting 12 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon, and then you have to discard this card. So the Deluxe Bomb can help with specific damage numbers, and you can also get it back through the means of Silene, which is very cool, or even Roseanne's backup. So Deluxe Bomb, who knows, is going to be included in a couple of decks. There's a ton of great Ace Pack cards around, so we have the option, right? Then there's the Grade 3, and oh boy is it great. Grade 3 is one of those cards that is going to allow you to instantly evolve a basic Pokemon all the way into their stage 2. First you search your deck for a stage 1 and put it onto the basic Pokemon, then search your deck for a stage 2 and put it on the stage 1 Pokemon. You can only use this card on the Pokemon that was already in turn for a play, so it needs to be in turn for a play in order for you to use Grade 3. So, but still, it's going to be great to have those combos going where you can evolve your Duskull instantly into Dusclops, instantly into Dusknoir. Same goes for deck building strategies if you want to be making, in the past we had like stuff like, I would say, TM Evolution, so I'm going to be working very similarly, but this is an Ace Pack, so you don't need to waste your attack in order to evolve. It does need to be in play for a turn, so if you go first, buddy puff, and get your stuff out, on the following turn, if you have the Grade 3, you instantly have your stage 2. How cool is that? For a Seal Stone, find that stadium, slap down the stadium, and evolve. The downside is that the opponent could do the exact same thing, so if you're up against an upcoming deck out there that uses the same stage 1 and stage 2 lines in their respectful deck, they can also use it instead. So there's that. But the instant use of getting a stage 2 out of the field, whether it's your tech card Dusknoir or whether it's your consistency card like Pidgeot EX, it's going to be all happening with the Grade 3. Grade 3 also sub-play and stuff like Dialga deck, so you can instantly fetch out the Metangs turn after turn if the stadium stays in play, which is good because with like the Star Chronos you can attack, it's back to your turn, so you can activate Grade 3 again. So there are definitely some crazy deck building strategies, and maybe even in control decks that want to be getting out specific stage 2s, this could be a very great Ace Pack card. So now that we have the Ace Packs out of the way, you just need one of them because you can only include one Ace Pack in your deck entirely. Then for the Pokemon, there's not a lot of them out there. There is the Joltik, which allows you to accelerate energies. The Joltik actually is kind of busted in my opinion, because Joltik is going to be searching the deck for 2 basic grass energies and 2 basic lightning energies, and allows you to accelerate those to your Pokemon in any way that you like. That means you can instantly set up your board with Pokemon. Even if you want, you can set up an Iron Hand out of nowhere because of the Joltik. But the thing is, the format is way too fast to use this. Joltik also only has 30 HP, meaning it is very weak to attacks, to something like a Phantom Dive. And even something like a Monkey Dory play could also happen to knock out Joltik. So there is that. On the other side, Galvantula EX is one of the better EXs from the set. It's not going to be groundbreaking tier S, tier 1, maybe even, yeah, maybe it's a tier 2 deck, but Galvantula allows you to slap 220 damage for only 2 energies onto EXs and V Pokemon. You're a lightning Pokemon, meaning you hit weakness, so that means you can knock out Pidgeot EX in one shot, which is actually super cool. You can also use the crystal, the sparkling crystal that we recently talked about, to attack for just 1 energy. On the other hand, its second attack allows you to slap 180 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, they are item locked. So they cannot play any item from their hand, no rare candy, no Buddy Puffin, no Ultra Ball. All of those cards are shut down. Superior Energy Retrieval, E-Switch, you name it, Dark Patch, Trekking Shoe, all the items are blocked. You do discard all of your energy, meaning you're gonna have to find a way to recharge. I've seen lists out there using one of those hourglasses that we got recently to get the energy back. You also can combine it with Sparkling Crystal, and then maybe even another way, yeah, with an extra energy attachment, so you can go item lock, item lock, item lock. You're very weak to stuff like vacuum, I suppose, but their item locking with 180 damage is definitely very scary in a format like this that are gonna heavily rely on turbo-based decks using a lot of item cards. Then there's an Iron Boulder, which allows you to slap 170 damage for 2 energies if you have the exact same hand size. So Iron Boulder, in my opinion, is going to be a very crazy thing, because if you do not have the same number of cards as your opponent, this attack does nothing. But if there's ever out there a deck that is very weak to Psychic, if we ever come to that format again, Future Box can instantly go with the Iron Bundle to then hit for weakness to go for 340. So that's why I've included in here, because we haven't seen the last of the Future type Pokemon. Talking about Future and Ancient, we have the Ancient Raging Bolt, and the cool thing is we can Sada onto this target, and the thing with the Raging Bolt is that you're gonna be able to snipe opponents. Raging Bolt is having 130 HP, but it's good attack. Lightning Storm slaps 30 damage for to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to this Pokemon. If you're playing Sada, attachment of the turn, you're already sniping for 60 damage on your very first turn going second, meaning stuff on the bench like a Pidgey, a Charmander. Charmander, not really, because it has 7 HP, but some of the Pokemon that have 60 HP are gonna get sniped away. You could also think about playing this Raging Ball with like the Teal Mask Ogerpon and some E-switches to have some very aggressive snipes early on in the game to knock out Pokemon. So interesting stuff for sure. I'm including 1 copy in my binder for sure. Next is Klinklang, and that's going to be a stage 2 Pokemon that you can put into play instantly as a basic Pokemon, as to say. Just slap the stage 2 instantly down on your bench if the opponent has a stage 2 in play. And that's going to be a nice way to have a very tanky one-price Pokemon on your field, while it also dishes out some damage. You're going to be able to slap 130 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon with the Hypersonic Beam, and actually only going to be on the active, by the way. So you cannot snipe with the Klinklang, just 130 to the active, and if you have the DTE, that's 110. It's actually a very cool Chimpao counter, because if you ever see a Chimpao deck out there like going like tier S or whatever, you can instantly add in Klinklang, because they will have Baxcaliburs in play, slapping down Klinklang, and just for 1 attachment, a DTE, you can one-shot Chimpaos. So that is something cool you could do with the Klinklang. Also, other stuff that are weak to metal, you can even boost your damage output up with stuff like, for example, a Defiance Band if you're behind in prizes, like Klinklang, Defiance Band, and then with the DTE, that's 140 times 2 is 280. So there are ways that this Klinklang can be a tech card, so I'm including 1 copy in my binder for sure. Then there is the Archaludon line, a 2-2 line. I definitely would include that. And Archaludon EX is coming in the upcoming set, and the Surging Sparks. So the Archaludon is cool because it gives all your metal type Pokemon free retreat. And having free retreat in a format like this, where you can just safely hide to the bench and disrupt the opponent to a low hand size, and if they whiff gusting, you save an additional turn of the opponent taking prize cards. So all the metal type Pokemon, yeah, your Pokemon with any metal type energies attached have no retreat. So this also works for Luminous Energy or Legacy Energy. Anything that works and is considered a metal type Pokemon, metal type energy will have, of course, free retreat coming packed with it. So that's actually super nice. Next is the Noctowl engine. The Noctowl engine, if you've been playing during the days of Shady Dealings, Drizzle, Sobbles, you name it, with the Inteleon engine, you're going to be very familiar with this. Noctowl comes packed with the ability to search 2 trainer cards from the deck if you evolve into it, but only if you have a Tera Pokemon in play. So you need a Tera Pokemon in play, otherwise Noctowl is not doing anything. Decks, for example, like Raging Bolt that already have Tera Pokemon included through the means of Teal Mask Ogerpon are going to be loving a card like this because it makes the deck way more consistent, finding Sawdoff, finding Prime Catcher instantly. It's going to be very scary to be dealing with a Raging Bolt deck having consistency by its side. Also, Noctowl will help out decks like, for example, Palkia, because now you can have an entire engine with tons of Hoothoot on your field, and then using the Noctowl as an engine like back in the days of the Shady Dealings. Fan Rotom is going to help with that. Also, 4 copies of that into the binder, 100%. The Fan Rotom allows you, on your very first turn, you may use this ability. Search your deck for 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them and put them in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. You can't use this ability if you have used another Fan Call ability this turn. So only on your first turn you're going to be able to get the squad out there. Not only can you get out a bazillion amount of Hoothoots, you can get 2 Hoothoots and even a Noctowl on top of that, so you can get something going the following turn. The cool thing with the Fan Rotom is that it also comes packed with an attack that allows you, if there's a Stadium card in play, you can actually slap 70 damage. That means you can already initiate the prize trade in every deck out there that is playing Rotom and a couple of Stadium, which is most likely will be the Area Zero under that, but more on that later. Then Bouffalant is going to be a card that's going to help you out with some additional bulk, or actually buff. Buffed up, more defensive power. If you have 2 Bouffalant in play, your basic colorless Pokemon take 60 less damage from attacks done by your opponent's Pokemon. So this also doesn't stack, by the way. So 60 reduction on all your colorless Pokemon. Meaning, as a little example, colorless basic Pokemon that is. So any basic colorless Pokemon can then be taken a second glance at, because you're going to be getting some additional defense. Can you imagine a Blood Moon Ursaluna EX with 60 additional defense, and then even a Bravery Charm or a Hero's Cape, and there's going to be such a tanky Blood Moon that you can never one-shot, that's going to be making stuff happen with pennies and stuff. Like Bouffalant, very strong indeed in this set, and that's why it's a 4-off. Then last but certainly not least for the colorless Pokemon is going to be Terapagos EX. It's going to be coming back with an attack that allows you to attack for 30 damage for every one of your benched Pokemon. And total that can be 8 benched Pokemon because of the new Stadium card, meaning you can slap 240 for yeah, just an attack on a basic Pokemon. And with a DTE that's 220, which is still a relevant number, by the way. So Terapagos EX does have a downside, is that you cannot use the attack on your very first turn going second, so you cannot donk people with the Terapagos EX, unfortunately. But all the colorless support is there. You can Fan Rotom, get some Hoothoot, you can get some Bouffalants as well, get some additional bulk, and by your second turn, you're going to be able to attack with a very tanky basic attacker. It also comes back with an attack being immune the following turn by basic Pokemon that are not colorless. So stuff like Raging Bolt, Miraidon will have to scratch their head to say how I deal with Terapagos. Yeah, they can of course Iron Bundle Boss, but yeah, definitely because you have such a crazy support line. But still, combined with like Disruption like Iona could be good. So that's all for the Pokemon. So colorless Pokemon are broken. You have some little bit of metal Pokemon left and right, and that's about it. If you're a true believer, you can even get the Cinderace in your binder as well, but I'm not a big believer. So that's it. Not a lot of Pokemon, right? So it's going to be one hell of a cheap set, and you're going to be probably walking away with like, I think $50 at most for all the cards you see on the screen right here, I think. So that's going to be very cheap to play competitively. Next is going to be the Glass Trumpet. It's going to allow you to accelerate energies, and it only works if you have a Tera Pokemon in play. So lots of stuff to do with Tera Pokemon. choose 2 of your bench colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to them. So not only do you have energy acceleration for colorless Pokemon, with E-switches you can put it on any Pokemon. Or with Blizzy EX you can put it on any Pokemon. The cool thing is that it only activates if there's a Tera Pokemon in play. So without the Tera Pokemon, you cannot use Glass Trumpet. That makes sense, right? And because Glass Trumpet is going to boost the Tera Pokemon, you can have some very wacky combos going, for sure. The next card I'm going to be talking about is the Antique Root Fossil, and the reason that I put it on the buy list is that it comes back with a very cool ability. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's basic Pokemon's attacks need 1 card's energy more. Can you imagine a control deck with Crushing Hammers and all that might even use this Antique Root Fossil as a way to stall off the opponent? I don't know, it's just in my head, and that's why I put it here on the buy list. Next, talking about the stall control, you know, Gravity Stone, a very powerful tool card that is going to be making your opponent's active Pokemon need 1 cardless energy more to retreat. The reason why I think that is great is that it's going to be very good with stuff like, for example, Great Tusk. You can counter catch your Pokemon with a retreat cost of 1, which was in the past very bad because they can just attach retreat. But now with Gravity Stone, they need 2 energies to retreat that. Imagine like counter catcher, Rotom, Gravity Stone, and then use Great Collapse or whatever it is that the Great Tusk comes back with, and out of nowhere they're trapped. They need a switch out because Attached Retreat no longer works. You see where we're going with it. So I think Great Tusk can definitely use something like this. You can also see this working out as a one-up in Gardevoir deck, so you can just Gravity Stone onto something like a Screamtail, Counter Catcher Iono, and then start using the Roaring Scream. Also a possibility right there. Maybe in some other control decks this could be used as well. Next is Crispin. Crispin allows you to search your deck for 2 different types of basic energies, accelerate one of your Pokemon, and put the other one in hand. A very crazy card. Not only does this work with something like a Raging Bolt as an additional Sada, same goes for Roaring Moon decks, you're gonna be able to, of course, get an additional energy. It means if you're playing a Radiant Greninja, energy acceleration and draw power all in one, right? That's how it works, and same goes for like Teal Masks. If you have Teal Mask and an energy you want to accelerate to one of your Pokemon, very powerful. This can also work for Dragapult EX if something like your Sparkling Crystal is priced, so you at least can get another Dragapult EX set and ready to go. I also think this is going to be one of the ways you can attack with Radiant Greninja and something like a Roaring Moon deck, so you only need 1 E-switch to pull it off. I love this Crispin card, 4 copies in my binder for sure. Next is Kofu, allowing you to put 2 cards in your hand on the bottom of the deck, and then you can draw 4 cards. I think a card like this is going to be in some of those quad decks out there, like Iron Thorns, for example. Instead of relying on research time and time again that discards your resources, you can save resources by putting them in the bottom of the deck and drawing a raw 4 cards, which is very great for sure. Some decks might even use this. Next is Briar, which is going to be stating that you can take an additional prize card. Very strong indeed. If a Tera Pokemon uses an attack and knocks something out, you can take an additional prize card only if the opponent has 2 prize cards remaining. Meaning any Tera Pokemon out there can then take an additional prize card. Charizard can then win in board states where the opponent has only 1 prize Pokemon in play. This is taking the step extra because against 1 prize decks, for example, Ancient Box decks that only require 1 prize Pokemon, out of nowhere you can take that 2 prize turn, which is very, very funky. Another thing you can do with Briar is actually using something like a Dragapult. So it states until the end of this turn, if your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from one of your Tera Pokemon's attack, you can take an additional prize card. And if you've set your damage out perfectly with stuff like Dragapult, for example, the Dragapult is also a Tera Pokemon, you might even take all your prize cards at once if the damage is placed perfectly. So a very strong card. I'm only putting 2 copies in him because it's only working on the late game, and that's why 2 copies is sufficient. And then last but certainly not least is going to be the Area 0 under Depth. This is going to be a way you can expand your bench. Typically in the Pokemon TCG, you can only have 5 Pokemon on your bench, but with the Area 0 under Depth, it actually enlarges all the way to 8, but only if you have a Tera Pokemon in play. Meaning, if you want to decrease the opponent's bench size really quickly, just knock out their Tera Pokemon. Like, for example, if you're up against a Palkia deck, knock out their Wellspring Ogerpon, and suddenly their bench size gets decreased ridiculously because they have to go back to 5. you see where we're going with this. Area 0 Under Depth is a very strong card that's going to be played in a lot of archetypes, and also going to be the way you can remove Pokemon from your field. Imagine you're playing Raging Bolt and you're having your setup completely set up like with Ogre Pawns, even set up Radiant Greninja, Squawkabilly and all that stuff, and out of nowhere, your Area 0 Under Depth stadium gets overlapped with another stadium. You need to decrease your bench size. That means you can get all those weak HP Pokemon away with. Something like, the Squawkabilly, get out of here. A Noctowl that has already been used, get out of here, so you can reuse it if you have something like Super Rod. So very funky stadium for sure, and having 8 bench Pokemon will bring new life to stuff like Palkia V-Star, Hisuian Zoroark V-Star, even Raikou if you include something like a Terra Mewtwo EX in your Miraidon deck, so you can go wide on your board, and then Raikou with Lightning Rondo can slap more damage. It's actually very cool indeed, and not only that, it goes hand in hand with Terapagos EX for sure. So this is my set review slash buy list, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, helps out in ridiculous ways, and let me know what your favorite card of Stellar Crown is. Which one are you personally looking forward to when the release date is here? Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG epicness. Peace!